leave it at that. During the period of slavery, you had many slave rebellions, some recorded to history, most weren't. Men like Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, started slave rebellions. And you can ask any, you can look up historical records, or you can ask any very old black person from the South that's willing to be honest with you. A lot, basically all of those slave rebellions were informed upon by black women. But then you'll make the claim that nobody protected you during slavery. So with that type of treachery, how does black love come out of that? And that same type of treachery plays out to this very day. How quick are black women to pick up the phone and call the police on a black man for the slightest disagreement? You know what? When I was younger, myself and a few of my partners from work, we decided, I'm sitting here trying to think of which fight it was. I think it was that Mayweather and Corrales fight. That was a long while ago, and rest in peace to Diego Corrales, because that brother is deceased now, long deceased in a motorcycle accident. We went to go see Mayweather and Corrales. So this one of my partners had a woman at home that was pregnant. She never wanted him to go anywhere. And he basically, except for going to work, going to the store, he granted her wishes. He didn't want to, he didn't go out and do nothing. And that's, on one level, that's admirable. He wanted to be there and take care of the woman. That's cool. And so he finally put his foot down when it came to this fight, because he used to box. He was a huge boxing fan. He was like, look, I'm not going out to party. We just going to watch this fight. I'm going to watch this fight. I'm not going to miss this fight. This nigga been talking shit to Mayweather. I want to see what's going to happen. I got money on this fight. I'm going to see this fight. The man went to go see the fight with us at a sports bar, right? It's 5 of us. So he rode with another one of my partners. I had my car. So we followed each other. He lives the closest to the venue that we were watching the fight in. So we take him back home first. So the next day, not the next day, but the following Monday, he didn't show up to work. So we like, man, where such and such at? So then 2 days later, he finally shows up to work, and he's in the HR office for a couple of hours explaining what happens. He comes out to the floor. He tells us that this woman called the police on him, saying that he has slapped her. And this is about like maybe 5 minutes before he walked in the door. So the man walks in the door, takes off his clothes, lays down to sleep, and all of a sudden, he said, because he was kind of faded, so he went to sleep real quick. So he said he woke up and it's a policeman tapping on his chest with a fucking flashlight. And so he's in the car, like, before he even wakes up, he's in the police car. And he like, what the fuck are y'all locking me up for? And so they told him, your girlfriend said that you slapped her. And he's like, we ain't even had no arguments or nothing. I went to go see a fight. And so after the bitch wasn't mad no more, then she finally recanted her testimony. But you see that right there? He's lucky that he didn't get fired from work. He's lucky that he didn't get shot in his own fucking bedroom by the police. Where's the black love there? That same type of incident plays itself out every fucking day. Where's the black love there? Where is it? You have a group of women that, even though they secretly and openly lust after non-black men. They do it on TV. They do it all over social media. They have books that the whole premise of the book is being in a servile relationship to a white man. Many books like this, many titles. Go look them up. They on Amazon. This is nothing that's hidden. But even though you have women that so openly lust after non-black men, you can't even get past the high with a non-black woman before they label you a coon. That type of hypocrisy, even if a black man doesn't seek to have a personal relationship with a non-black woman, that type of hypocrisy has to, if you're in your right mind, hypocrisy on that level has to be somewhat disgusting, at least somewhat disgusting, and it has to be called out. Right? So, you saying that you can do one thing, but if I even go halfway there, now I'm a coon. So it's a different set of rules for me and a different set of rules for you. There's no equity there. Where's the love? Because if you really love somebody, whether they with you or whether they not with you, you supposed to want to see them do good and want to be happy. So on that basis right there, on that fundamental tenet right there, where's the love at? Where's the love? Tell me. Somebody tell me where the love is. Right? You want to know what love is? This is what love is to me. Love is finding a person that you at least get along with 80% of the time, and that you have this person's best interest at heart, even though it might overlap with your best interests are, or it might even conflict, but you have their best interests at heart because you care about them that much. And you always are considering how you can make them, how you can help them do better. And is any harm going to come to them, and trying to facilitate ways to help them do better and to prevent any harm coming to them. That's what the fuck love is. Do you really think that most black women feel that about black men? I'll wait. Do you really think that? You have a group of women that even in the Reconstruction period, as the black man in America came to embody the proverbial saying of pulling himself up by his bootstraps and building cities in this country and learning trades. Well, not learning trades, but had already perfected the trades. Understand this, that the first ships built in the United States Navy were built by the first trade union in the United States, the Carpenters and Joiners of America, and many of those charter members were black men. Many of those carpenters and joiners that built those first ships in the fledgling United States Navy were black men. Our capital, Washington, D.C., was designed by a black civil engineer, Benjamin Banneker, and mostly built by black sculptors, carpenters, stone masons, bricklayers, etc., etc. So after you built the nation for free and got turned to your own devices, you had to build your own nation because the black codes and segregation laws and Jim Crow legislation said that you couldn't cohabit with white folk. And so even though they were watching you build your own America, they actually had the nerve to still write negative propaganda about you, even though you have probably suffered the greatest injustice the world has ever known. Because this country is stolen land. This whole country is stolen land. The land you see that comprises the original 13 colonies is stolen land. Most of those were our ancestors that they made treaties with and broke the treaties. Don't you ever Let them make you think that they conquered this land with the gun and the sword. No, they stole it. They conned their way out of it. They conned it. They conned their way into it. It's loaded dice. It's 3-card Molly. It's counting cards. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. They conned their way into it. They didn't take a motherfucking thing. You know, other countries that's been conquered and lost, like how the tribe of Judah lost to the Babylonians, or later on they lost to the Greeks. They lost that shit. They lost their land fair and square. The South Africans, the Zulus, they fought the British and the Dutch. They lost their land fair and square. The indigenous people in Japan, the Ainu, when people started first coming there from mainland China and Korea, they lost their land fair and square. They lost it. War is a competition and they lost it. Us? No, we got conned. So even though you slowly recovered in the Reconstruction period from the con game and the hundreds of years of slavery that have been visited upon you, you defined yourself as being a resourceful champion. And they still had the nerve to get in publications and say negative shit about you. Not even appreciating your worth as a human being or a man. Tell me where the love comes from that. How does that signify love? Please tell me. They flaunted. They openly flaunted, and to this day continue to openly flaunt the nominal privilege that they have under the white power structure by frequently showing up places with their non-black mates. That's the privilege they have. A black woman can fuck whoever she wants to. And has been able to for the past 500 years. But they want to make it look like they do interracial dating on a reactionary basis when interracial dating is legal in the first place because of Loving versus Virginia. A relationship between a white man and a black woman. So never believe that lie either. But they flaunt their privileges. And they've been flaunting them. Even at the height of the segregation era, when a black man could be fucking hung and dismembered for sniffing a white woman's fucking fart, you had Hollywood film stars openly marrying black Hollywood female film stars openly marrying white men. You had in every major city and minor city in America, you had black women prostitutes openly cavorting, and mistresses openly cavorting with white men. Hell, I have older relatives that tell me that depending on where you live, if you live in the North, you might be able to get, you can go, if you got the money and you got the game to go after a beautiful black woman. But they told me if you stay in the South, just find you a woman that can cook and leave it at that. Because to have a beautiful black woman, a beautiful black wife in the South, up until like the 1970s was dangerous. Because either you're in danger and having to raise a white man's kid and while this black bitch gives you some excuse about, oh, well, her grandmother was an Indian princess, or you might have to stand up verbally or whatever to some type of public disrespect of your woman and either risk the point of being totally fucking emasculated or having your life